Hey guys, how's it going? We've got another beautiful day here. 50 degrees is the high. Tomorrow's supposed to be 53. We are loving it. We're going to start out here at the pond today. We are going to install a smart pond thermometer that Greg sent out so we can determine water temperature so we know when to start feeding the koi, which I got a count of them last night. We ended the season last year with 11 koi and there are still 11 living koi in the pond, so that's great. I have not seen the high fin banded shark yet, but that one is pretty elusive and I had a hard time even spotting him last year. So hopefully he's just chilling at the bottom, but they're starting to come out. Like, do you see them right there? We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. There's 11 koi right there. I just used the net to try to get some of the algae out just a minute ago, and I kind of muddied up the water a bit. The water has been clear, like you can see all the way to the bottom. Normally it will look like that in maybe an hour or two if I don't mess with the water any today, but there is quite a bit of algae in here, which we've got to figure out this year. I know they said it was going to be a 2-year process to get the ecosystem all balanced and have everything jive together. I'm just thankful that the water's not cloudy, not normally anyway. I don't know what possessed me to net algae out today. It's kind of satisfying, to be honest. I kind of want to put the hip waders on and get in there and do some clean out. Maybe I will do that. So anyway, we're going to install this thermometer, and then I'm going to clean up those rusty loppers that we used the other day on the wisteria. That's just been kind of weighing on me. I don't know why. I need to get those cleaned up, and then we might do a little bit more clean out. But anyway, you can see the thermometer right here. So it's a smart pond thermometer. So I've already downloaded the app. So we'll be able to tell, no matter where we're at, what the water temperature is. This part right here is the actual thermometer, and that part you want to get down to the bottom of the pond. That's where you get the most accurate reading, and it's got a super duper long cord, so that's nice. And then this right here will probably hang off the back of that big log over there. That's where all the rest of our ion gen and some other things are. And it's also where there's a plug-in, so I think that'll work out just perfectly. Okay, so I've got to go install it on the log first and plug it in, and then we can mess with the app. Apps and such are usually Erin's department, so hopefully I don't mess anything up. See, this is where, oh, you know what? Do we have an available plug-in? I don't know. Hang on. Well, either way, I think we're gonna hang this part right in here. Okay, so this is the thermometer that needs to go out into the middle of the pond. Okay, watch out, fishies. That looks pretty good. Okay, the thermometer is in the very deepest part of the pond. The cord was the perfect length, and I did manage to get it plugged in. Now, we only have 4 outlets out here, all of which were being used, and we do not have another outlet anywhere nearby. I mean, we'd have to run across the lane and hit an outlet over there on the other side. So I talked to Erin, and we decided we would split power from either the ion gen, which we're currently not using, which maybe that's why we've got the algae issue. I'm not sure if that's something you run during the winter time or not. I know if you run it for too long, it's not good for the fish, so I want to be very careful with it. So anyway, I need to do a little bit of research on that and figure out, you know, how long I can run it, when I should be running it, and all that proper stuff. Anyway, so since we're not currently using it, we decided to split power there to plug in the thermometer. So right there, it's running our thermometer right here and the ion gen. And it says that our current water temperature is 47, I don't know if you can see that, it's pretty dim, 47.4 degrees Fahrenheit, which is really interesting. I kind of figured it was going to be a little bit cooler than that, but once it hits 50, you can start feeding your koi again, and you feed them a cool water food when the water's between like 50 to 60 degrees, and then once it's over 60, you can start feeding the other food. And that's kind of what I wanted it for more than anything. But now I'm going to try to pair this with my phone. So hang on, it's gonna take me a minute. Once logged in, click the 3 dashes in the upper right hand corner and click add new device. Okay, so once you have your account set up, then you click add new device. Make sure your device is ready to be connected. Turn on the device, check. Make sure the LED indicator is blinking. It is blinking, check. And then click start. Continue. No devices were found. Put device and smartphone close to the Wi-Fi router. We do not have adequate Wi-Fi coverage out here at the pond, do we?
Probably not.
Shoot! I didn't read that note. Okay, so I just tried to pair it with my phone and it kept saying try again. I'm like, well, what the heck? So then I read more and it said adequate Wi-Fi coverage is required. So
you know, it's not that far though, honestly, because we've got Wi-Fi in the Hartley,
right.
We've got Wi-Fi in the barn, and those two locations aren't that far.
Not too far. So, well, I can tell though, I mean, at least you can read the temperature reading. It says it's 47.5 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh,
and,
wow.
And it has,
a lot warmer than I thought.
It has you put the thermometer at the very bottom of the pond, which it reached.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't really need to see it on my phone. As long as I can read it out here, it's totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to be on the phone. Well, maybe at some point I'll have a Wi-Fi like transmitter thing get put out there.
Just for the thermometer, probably not worth it.
I kind of want to put a camera out there too.
Oh, okay. Well, at that point then.
To monitor the pond.
Yeah, sure.
I think that might be good.
Yeah. All right. Well. Awesome. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Well. Now we know we don't have adequate Wi-Fi coverage out here at the pond. Doesn't matter. As long as I can see the temperature, we're out here all the time. So I can just come out here and check on it, every day when I'm out here checking on the fish anyway. And then Aaron said that at some point he does want to have a camera installed out here just to monitor, have eyes on the pond. So at that point, we'll have Wi-Fi brought out as well and we'll have proper coverage. It's wild to me though how different this pond looks like from last week to this week. Last week, or maybe it was the week before, completely ice. I mean, the waterfall was still running, but there was ice formations everywhere. This whole area was covered with snow. It was beautiful, but that's why there's a floating heater right there, like a stock tank heater, just in case it was going to freeze all the way over, which it never did because this whole space right here, there's so much water movement that this space stayed nice and clear, and it stayed clear over here as well. And had it stayed colder for a prolonged period of time, that would have probably been more necessary, but I was just wanting to make sure we had our bases covered. So anyway, that's all we were going to do out here at the pond today. Just kind of wanted to give you an update and then wanted to check the water temperature. So now we can head into the studio and start cleaning that pair of loppers. Okay, we're here in the studio. Here are the loppers in all of their rusted glory. I cannot wait to see what they look like when they're all done. And there's Aaron over there. He's feeling a lot better. Little Aaron update.
I'm feeling so much better.
Yeah.
Like
a new man.
Bad.
It was bad. You feel like a new person. So I'm just going to follow the exact same process that I did when we cleaned the Felco 2s. Was it last week? I don't know. Maybe we can link the video down below. But I went through all the different products. With this one, because these are such a rusted mess, I am going to be using the Felco 981, the resin remover. And we use this first before we take anything apart. I'm going to spray them down and let them set for 10 minutes. And then we're going to do a little scrubbing. And then I'll take the pieces apart, and we'll give each piece some attention. So anyway, and then in the very end, I'll sharpen them. And I'll kind of walk through the process a bit. But let's get them sprayed down. While they're soaking, I'm going to go take care of some plant watering in the Hartley, I think. Prop it up a bit. Okay, 10 minutes. Set the timer. Okay, it has been 10 minutes. They've been sitting here soaking on both sides. I sprayed both sides down, so there's a few little drips on the towel. So while everything is still together, I'm going to use this wire brush and scrub what I can. And then I'm going to take it apart, and then I'll probably spray it with this cleaner again, the resin remover, and let them set for 10 minutes, and then I'll start in with my other stuff. Then we kind of graduate to the 980 spray, which is also a lubricating spray. And then there's a grease and our sharpener. Since we just recently went through all these steps, we'll probably just speed this part up and get it done, and I'll show you how they look. try these out.
Oh,
I
wow.
know.
They look a lot better. Jeez
Not
Louise.
perfect, but a lot better.
Yeah. Oh, man.
They're sharp too.
Are they?
Yeah.
Nice. These are expensive. Do you know how much these cost?
I do not know.
I think this pair is like just shy of $300. So, like,
So take good care of it. Better care than I did.
Ken and I haven't added this to the store just because I don't know if, I mean, I don't know how many people buy like it's not $300. It's like it's like $270 or something. It's a lot of money for a pair of loppers. I suppose, I mean, this is like made for professional use. So if you're a professional that uses it all the time, like if you're a landscaper and it's what you do, probably is worth it to invest that much.
They do work nicely. I always grab that pair.
Yeah. They're like heavy duty.
Yeah.
I think Felco also sells one that's like this, that's like aluminum. Whereas I think this is all steel. And the aluminum one is lighter and probably less expensive as well.
I feel like I get really good leverage with those every time.
Yeah.
So I always grab that pair first. And we've got multiple pair of loppers in there. Anyway, let us know if we should carry these.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I'm really happy though. I mean, look at this, you guys. I could have spent more time. Like I spent way more time on my pruners the other day, like trying to get all of this off. But it almost feels like it's stained. Like this metal feels so smooth. Right now it feels so clean. And also I was gonna try to take the metal parts completely off, like take these bolts out, and I couldn't do it. I mean, I was using all of my strength. So I decided that it was not a big deal just to leave them on there. And that meant all I had to take apart were these right here. And then it released the blades from each other. And I was able to get in there and get the job done. Now I did put a little bit of that synthetic grease. It's a hydrophobic grease right on the inside. And that just repels water and dirt and junk like that and keeps the inner part, like underneath here, working real nice. All right, guys, this is our next project. Just as point of reference, if I swing this way, the sun is in my face. It feels glorious, but there's Hebe and there's the Hartley right there. Persephone garden and a honeysuckle that needs a rejuvenation prune. So this honeysuckle was here when we moved in, and it's on a freestanding trellis, like on 4x4 posts, which we'll be able to see a lot better here in just a little bit. But I have never, I mean, I've trimmed little bits that have come out a little bit further away than I wanted them to, but I've never done a big prune on this one. And you can see it's a semi-evergreen. It does keep some of its leaves, but increasingly over the years, it's become more and more bare down here, and it just looks kind of ugly and scraggly, and all of the good stuff is up top, up there. So what I want to do is just, I'm going to take it down. So this rejuvenation prune, I'm expecting to take this entire vine all the way off the trellis and cut it back close to the ground. It depends though. When we get into the interior layer, there might be some really nice thick branches that I let stay on the trellis. I'm just not sure what we're going to get ourselves into. And doing a rejuvenation prune like this on an old established plant, it is risky. I mean, it's a risk anytime you do something that's a little bit more drastic. Most of the time, plants respond really well to pruning like this, and they thank you for it later. And you're really not out anything. I mean, if your plant has gotten to a point where you don't even enjoy looking at it very much anymore, doing a rejuvenation prune might be the only way to get it to look the way you want it to. So either that, or if it doesn't respond to it, you can replace it with something that you like better. And there's Douglas. He's out here with us. It's going to be pretty easy to get in and around here. There's a lilac just behind it. There's some Morden blush roses that need to be cut back. I did transplant a bunch of iris into this area. It's a variegated yellow and green, has a purple bloom that smells just like grapes. I love them so much. So I'm going to be very careful not to trample these. So I've brought the loppers that we just cleaned up and sharpened. I brought those out. I've got my Felco 2s, and I'm just going to start cutting. There's kind of no rhyme or reason. When I get closer to the trellis, I'll stop and show you what the branches look like, and then we can determine whether or not we want to take it completely off the trellis. Okay, here's an update. We made it to the trellis. You can see some really big, thick stems that I think I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go in though, and I'm gonna shave off all the little spindly stuff and just leave the big stems. I didn't even know this trellis had an arch to it. I thought it just went straight up and straight across. But what a fun idea though, if you want to grow a vine somewhere, but you don't have a wall or, a fence to grow it on, you can just put up a couple 4x4 posts and get a pre-made trellis. And it looks like they just use those nails, that are like U-shaped to attach it in a bunch of spots. I kind of love that. I ended up grabbing my hedge trimmers because that made it a lot quicker. I started in with this, and when I realized that most of the growth on the outside was really little, I thought, well, this would be a lot faster with hedge trimmers. So I was able just to kind of shave all of that off, and now I'll go in for the fine tuning. And here it is all done, looking so much better. You can see all the big thick stems that we left today, and it's likely I'm gonna have to remove a few of them. As we move closer to spring, some of them may not leaf out. However, I do think most of them that I ran into are green. So I think we're gonna do okay. I'm so excited about this. And because I hadn't done this type of prune job on this vine since we moved in, I was able to learn quite a bit about this plant, starting off with exactly what variety it is. This was buried under, and I'll show you where it was buried. It was buried underneath the mass of stems at the base. We even found the bamboo stakes that it had originally been planted on, and this rubber kind of twine that had been used. So this is a Hall's honeysuckle, which they're a beautiful vine. They're more evergreen in more mild climates, and then as you get colder, they become kind of a semi-evergreen. And most winters here, it looked quite pretty, except for that scrubby bottom. They do bloom on mostly new wood. So the fact that we took this down right now is a great time to prune them. So it will hopefully have a lot of energy to produce new growth and a lot more blooms. The blooms start off white and age to kind of a creamy yellow, and it smells amazing. Now this variety though can be quite invasive. In our area, because we don't get a ton of rainfall, I just don't think that a lot of things tend to become invasive. So it has stayed quite tidy in this space. The vines grow out quite far. I mean, it'll grow, what does it say on here? 50 feet tall, spreading, if it has support. But I came in and pruned those long arms, once or twice a season, and that's all it took for me to keep it in check. And I didn't really notice it spreading. Occasionally I would have a shoot come out and I would just pull it, but I know in more moist areas it's probably a way bigger problem, so something to keep in mind about this variety. Another thing I learned about it is that it was not planted center on the trellis. I had no idea. It was planted to the left. I also learned that it has had a big cutback at one time in its life, because look at this. At the base, there's all these big trunks that I didn't cut. These had been cut prior. So I wonder if it has had a rejuvenation prune in its day. But this whole thing was packed full of leaves, like packed full. And I was able to get quite a lot of them out. Oh, look at that trunk down there. And that's where I found this. The tag was just stuck down in here among all the other stuff. So I kind of alleviated all that. Well, not all of it, clearly, but a lot of it, which, you know, that can eventually rot things out if the moisture and leaves just kind of stay packed around all the stems down here. So that makes me breathe easier for sure. So this chore turned out to be quite illuminating. I really didn't know what was going on underneath that huge canopy of branches. And it makes me motivated to start in on this space. And you know, this space here is going to be changed just a little bit based on how we decide to do our grass line. I'll stand back and kind of explain. Gotta stand way back. So there's the honeysuckle and the grass. And you know, last fall we had this walkway installed, and we had grass in this area too, up to a flower bed that kind of ended where the lamium kind of stops right there. Anyway, when they came in to take out the grass, I kind of just did a line for now, because I wasn't sure exactly how much grass we wanted to keep. But I think we are going to be refining the line and making this deeper right in here so that it's more balanced on either side of the walkway. And then over here, I think we're going to be coming in a bit as well, because we have this weeping willow, which I absolutely adore. But you know, they are kind of water hogs. So the grass always struggles right here. Oh, I always feel like I need to get extra sprinklers out and give it some supplemental water. And I want to eliminate those kinds of areas. I don't want to have to water extra. I want to just fix the problem, plant a bunch of sedum and Russian sage, and call it good. Not just those plants, but you know what I mean. Like, kind of work with your space instead of, you know, trying to fight it. Because even if I had sprinklers that were easy to set up, I mean, I just know that this space would always need supplemental water with this type of tree in it. So if I choose some things that don't need to have quite as much water and can thrive with that, I think that's going to be really nice. And it makes me excited to see that cleanup right there, because I don't know, kind of makes me want to keep going. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna pick up my Falcos before I forget them out here in the grass, and I got to go dump my lotus stuff. I'll show it to you. It's quite large. But that is it for today. I went and checked the thermometer in the pond, and it was at 48.5. Last time I checked, probably about an hour ago. And then there's our load right here. Look at that. I am so thankful for these gators, let me tell you what. And I've got all my stuff. This is semi-full. I've got the ladder and all the tools up here with me. So I'm gonna go take care of this and head in for the evening. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.